Hi guys, it's Kevin here with Kalil, fresh off his top 64 at YCS London. We got a deck profile. I'm just going to get into it now.
Yeah, perfect. So, yeah, I played Tri-Brigade Sprite for the event. I went 10-2 after Swiss, so I came 38th. And then I lost in top 64 to Murphy Sprite.
Straight away, unlucky.
Yeah, it was actually brutal, to be honest with you. But overall, I was pretty happy with how the deck performed, to be honest. It was I picked the deck over all the other sprites because it's what I had like the most practice with, to be honst. I saw the deck back at Vegas, and then like I think it was Dylan Fox went like 9-0 with it at regionals, so I saw that profile. So shout out to him. So that's what inspired me to play the deck, and it honestly feels so nice. But yeah, I'll get right into it.
Nice. You need the next YCS next year for a three-peat, yeah?
Yeah.
London's your city, right?
Yeah, London's my city.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, so I'll just start with hand traps, to be honest, because I think that just makes the most sense. So I played 3 Impermanence, 3 Ash Blossom, and 2 Nib. I think these are self-explanatory, to be honest. Like they just kind of hit everything pretty hard. Like they're quite high impact, to be honest. But I feel like the Nib's a bit weird, so I'll explain that a little bit. On Friday we played the 3v3, and I got my butt handed to me, to be honest with you, in the whole 3v3. I was playing Book of Moon at one point, and I tried it out, and it just wasn't good against anything I was against, to be honest. Every time I drew it just felt so mid. So I swapped it out with this because I felt like this was quite high impact. I was doing like looking at all the decks that I was scared of, or all the decks that like were in the format, and I felt like this hit them, and people just weren't thinking about it as much. So this actually was quite good in Swiss, and I kind of built my deck more for Swiss than anything. So it was really, really good in Swiss, to be honest.
Cool.
But yeah, with the Sprite engine, it was just quite standard, to be honest. It was 3 jet, 3 jet, 3 blue, 1 red, 1 carrot, and then 3 starters and 1 smashes. It's quite standard.
Yeah.
I don't play cross out or side it because I don't really see the point with this deck. You're not bringing back like totally awesome or anything, so I don't see the point. And when I was testing it before, it just wasn't doing anything. But smashes is really, really good in this deck because you can use it. I use it more going second, to be honest, just like as an option to get rid of another card, as opposed to searching like smashes when I go first in my combo. I normally search starter just because people are kind of maining evenly and stuff like that, so I was just a bit worried. So I normally go like, if they go battle phase, start step, I just go starter into carrot, and then they can't evenly me. And I got evenly quite a lot in Swiss, to be honest, like in game ones. Like I think it happened 4 times, and every single time I would just start a carrot and it would save me, so I wouldn't change it. And at one point I was playing like 2 red, but then I just like, I didn't really feel like it was that needed anymore, so I made changed it to another slot. For the Tri-Brigade we played 2 Kit, 2 Keras, 2 Nerval, and just 1 Revolt. Yeah, I just wanted to play the smallest package possible because you don't want to draw these in multiples, to be honest. The whole idea is to kind of go through them in the combo and then search them as follow-up. I did see the top 8 profile from LA, and I saw that he played 3 Kit and 1 Keras, and I actually like agree with that. I understand the logic of it, like using Sprite, using the Kit plus like a Sprite card to just like chain block the Sprint, so you can like get Angler and like the Beavers out and search is like kind of insane. It comes up quite a lot, and I was doing that anyway. So I think like going forward, I definitely switched that to like a 3rd Kit, to be honest. But yeah, the ratio was good, and Nerval is the worst card to draw.
Yep. Okay.
For the Nimble package, it's just the 3 Beaver and the 2 Angler. It's just a standard combo, to be honest, and you want to have another one as follow-up sometimes as well. So it's just good. You definitely do not want to draw Angler at all, or it's just awful, which happened quite a lot for me. I also played 2 Fenrir. Fenrir was actually like really insane for me throughout the whole weekend, to be honest. Like it was just such a good, not only like an interruption, but it also gives yourself another Fenrir as follow-up, which you put back a Ferrijit in the combo, or like for Bear for Revolt, for example. But it's also just an extender. So like if you open Fenrir and a level 2, that's just like the combo. Like you don't get the full like best combo. Like you don't get like double Dragon Lords or anything, but you get like IP, Pit Knight, Revolt with like 4 in hand still, or 3 in hand, and that's like still pretty good. You don't get to go through like the Sprite stuff, unfortunately, but at least you get that. So like as like a multi-purpose card, it was really good. And even going second, people just wouldn't know if you were playing cash or not, so they would like hesitate and like use hand traps on it. Like one time they imped my Fenrir, and then I just summoned a level 2 and went into Sprint, and they just full comboed. So it was just like, great, cool, you've wasted your imp. Unfortunate. And then for the other, like the rest of the spells, I played 3 Dark Ruler. This was actually evenly until like the last week of testing. And I think we as a team, like Shift, kind of agreed that Dark Ruler is really good as a card anyway. So I definitely wanted to at least side this card. And I believe it was Carl who said it about just how good it was in general, and I'm just fully on board with it. But I just felt like in general, because the format I felt like it was kind of shifting to Omni Negate City. And so because it was doing that, I didn't want Evenly to be the be-all. Like, if I use Evenly, I feel like it's not good against those decks. Even though I did expect to play like against Cash the majority of the time who don't put up Omni Negates. I was just worried about people potentially playing the Adventure package, and then like it makes Evenly just kind of dead, whereas Dark really just deals with it, and then I can just Zeus him and win the game. So that was like the logic. And this deck makes Zeus very easily, so why would I not go with that game plan? And then I also played 2 Tactics. This card was insane. I'm not going to lie. This card was ridiculous. Like, every time I drew it, it was broken, except in my top 64 match where I drew 2. And I was like, this sucks. But yeah, it was, even as going first, like, sometimes they'd ask me and I'd just go Tactics, see your hand, what have you got? Oh, okay, take your nib out of your hand, I can play the game now. But also just taking on a Rise Heart or forcing them to either banish it face down was insane. Against Cash, since a Rise Heart is mandatory trigger, you literally can just either use one card as like a monster, do something, and then make a Rise Heart trigger in any way, shape, or form, and then Tactics them, and then take their Rise Heart, Zeus them, and win the game. And that happened so many times. Or they'd forcibly banish it, and then I can do my Tri-Brigade stuff now because my graveyard is not banished. So really good in that sense. It's just insane card. And then Burial because it's broken.
Yeah. Yep.
Who's got to play it? For the extra deck, I played. Let's go with the links first. I played 2 Sprint. I played 2 mainly. I think you need the second one anyway, and I think I would play it even if Diablos wasn't in the meta, but you just need it anyway, just in general, as follow-up sometimes. And so, in situations where you like do IP Pit Knight, if they do go battle phase evenly you, and you do use your starter for Carrot, you're then locked into 2, so you can't revolt anymore, right? So the only way you can make Pit Knight an IP live, because you can't make Appaloosa now, is to go into a second Sprint. So you at least have that interruption still there. So I think for that reason it's quite relevant to play 2 anyway, just to have another interruption. I suppose you could have swapped it maybe with a Cerberus or a Phoenix, maybe, but in that sense it's quite relevant.
Yeah.
Definitely wouldn't change that. And then I played Appaloosa for the combo, of course. If you're and then IP again for the combo, same with Pit Knight. Don't need to explain these 2. They're just part of the general combo that you go into.
That's straightforward.
DDL as the main interruption with, again, the combo. So it was explained in that regard.
We sat for ages otherwise, won't we?
And to be fair with this card, it also did come in second a lot, like, because when you are breaking boards, you remake a board, and a lot of the time I'd go into it and then in the middle of the combo bounce something back, like an XYZ or something, and it would just go in like that. So really good card, to be honest. And then for the Tri-Brigades, I just played 2 Shureg, and then 1 Fergie, 1 Bear, which is just standard, to be honest.
Yep.
Again, I saw at the LA they only played 1 Shureg, but for me personally, like, I felt like I was using the second one all the time, like, because at the end of the day, if you do the full combo, you're going through this at least, so you're going through all of these in the turn, and then you will summon this when they do something, so like revolt, and then you've got nothing left to make with like your kit or anything as follow up. So your KRS that you add, you can't actually summon anything. So I feel like you have to play the second one as well, just to have another way to do something, because then you can go like kit Shureg, go into like a Link 2 or something, and then go off the second sprint or something. And then for the XYZs, the rest of them I played. For the XYZs I played Gigantic Sprite.
Yep.
Just 2 of it because it's broken. You need it as follow up if it's not the first one. Again, I wouldn't change this even if Diablos wasn't in the game. And then I played 2 Zeus. I was borrowing the other one, so
Yeah, it's all good.
Zeus was really good. I didn't go into it as much as I expected to go into it throughout the whole event, but in general, it was just obviously really good. Like, again, if you dark roll their board, you can just go straight into Zeus, and it did happen a few times like that where I would just do that exact play. But yeah, I would only play 1 if Diablos wasn't in the game.
Yeah.
And then I played the 1 Mosquito, which insane throughout the whole weekend. Again, like, just because it doesn't target when it uses its effect, which is insane. So like against Labyrinth, which I played against in round 8 and 9, I did the exact same play twice, where I put a counter on their card with Hallucinogen on the Lady, and Lady you can't target with traps, but because of this you can, because it doesn't target, and then just burn them and end them. And a lot of the time it was just insane. Like, the card's broken.
Nice.
And also because you can put sometimes you do like 3 level 2s on top of it and then attack, and then you've got 2 Zeus pops, which actually changes a lot in the situation, so you don't have to like download and stuff. For the side deck though, I played 1 Change of Heart. I played this card because I hadn't really tried it before, and then I kind of tried it in the last couple of weeks on Dueling Book and stuff, and like with my friends. And it was just like really impactful. Like, being able to take a monster and use the effect and attack is insane, and it comes up a lot. And there's one situation where like I made him use a Baron negate, change of heart at it, and I could use their Baron attack because it's locked to the person.
Yep.
So like just whenever I drew it, I didn't draw it a lot, of course it's a one-of, but whenever I did it was really impactful. So I definitely wouldn't change that. I did play the Red Resonator just for time. It did its job. It did win me one game.
Yeah, there you go. That's all you need from it. Yeah,
and that's literally all you needed to prove that it was worth the side deck slot.
Yep.
I didn't go into time a lot, to be fair. I only went into time like twice, maybe 3 times. So it didn't really like come in that much, but when it did its job.
Yeah.
So
especially you went X2 at the start, didn't you? So you couldn't afford to drop a game. So there you go.
Yeah. Also, shout out to the 3v3 7 Bjorn for this, by the way, because I was playing Scattershot up until the 3v3 and I changed it for this. So yeah. I'm really glad I played it for that reason too. And then I played up a pointer just because it's broken. Whenever I drew it, it was insane. I think I only drew it once or twice, but again, it did its job whenever it did, and most people scooped sometimes when they saw it.
Mm-hmm.
I played 1 Pankratops. To be honest with you, this did not perform as well as it did, but it's only because I didn't draw it in my opening hand. When I would go second, it would like be drawn like a turn later, and then it'd be like, oh, this is kind of awkward now. Whereas before, it would have been better. In theory, like when I was testing, it was really good, but
it's a one-off anyway. I mean, what can you say, right?
It's a one-off.
Yeah.
Played 2 Gamma This is just for mainly like, to be honest, like sometimes with this deck, you kind of need to go into your graveyard to kind of keep playing the game because you have to send like Tri-Brigade cards or send the Angler for the Beavers. It's actually quite important sometimes. And the Rise Heart basically says you can't do that. So to stop that from happening, I want to put this card in my deck. Mm-hmm. Also, I just don't want to play against some Towers decks that's hard to out. I guess I was a little bit worried about things like Ignister randomly appearing or just things like that. So I just wanted to get rid of them. And Omni Negates too. Like if you contribute over the Omni Negate, I feel like a lot of the time I can just play the game. So I'd rather trade a 1-for-1. And it did its job, to be fair. I did like tribute a Rise Heart like twice throughout the weekend, so it was good. Mm-hmm. And then I played 3 Cosmic. This is for Trap Decks Lab, but also for like Runic of any variation because I felt like that was creeping up. Hitting the fountain's huge, especially like going second and stuff because then he turns off like half the negates.
Did you play any Runic?
I only played against 1 in Swiss, to be fair. The Naturia one, it was Naturia Runic, and it went in then. To be fair, I did in game 3. I drew it. After not drawing a game 2 at all, after like a very long drawn out game, but then it went in hard. Like it just literally stopped any play he had. I think he tried to get a draw from like for 2, and I just stopped it straight away, and then he just turned off every advantage he didn't have. And then I played 3D Barrier because this card just hits everything. It hits everything bar Labyrinth. Like it's the only card I can think. It's the only deck I can think of right now off the top of my head. Oh, and then like Math Mech. Any Cybers deck it doesn't hit, and then Labyrinth as well. But everything else it just destroys. Like if going, I don't know why you wouldn't side it at all. And I think like against Spright as well, if they haven't got to blue or jet already, like hitting their Gigantic is actually huge. So for some reason, I would side it in against Spright because it would just hit them harder than the other card side anyway. The last one is 3 Anti-Spell. Just because I am actually a little bit scared of Runic, and the only way they can out this card, like if they draw into their turn, is if they draw like their Spell and Trap card pop. But if they don't draw it, then it makes their life harder. And especially against variations like Naturia Runic, it actually hurts really hard if they haven't, if they don't have the pop for it, because then they don't Blessing from their opening hand, so it's just not good. So yeah, Anti-Spell was really good for me. I could have maybe changed it for Judgment, but I'm glad it was Anti-Spell for this event, to be honest.
Awesome. Well, there we go. Well, congrats again. You got any shout-outs?
Yeah, I have a few shout-outs. I'll give shout-outs to Team Shift. They had my back for the whole time, and testing with them for like the last few days was really, really good for me. Like everyone was great. And then I'll give a shout-out to like Kevin, my boy, boy behind the camera. Just shout out to like even like people from like Angle Gaming as well, like people like Chris Liddell and stuff like that, and even Bonoff, just because they tested with me a lot throughout the weekend, throughout the last couple of weeks as well. So yeah, thank you.
Good stuff. Awesome. Peace, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.